Satoshi Hamano. I'm very happy to meet with you today. I would also like to appreciate all the INS staff for setting up such a place. Today, my title is Galapagosization, the ecology of old social media in Japan. Let me introduce myself. Let me introduce myself before going into today's topic. My profile is a critic and a commentator. I specialize mainly in network society issues in Japan. And since 1999, I studied at SFC campus and at Keio University in University and graduate school. There are professors such as Jun Murai, known as the father of the internet in Japan, where interdisciplinary research on the internet was conducted. Since that time, I have been researching social media mainly from a sociological standpoint. The first book, Ecosystem of Architecture, translated into traditional Chinese as a and was awarded a small but prestigious award in Whole Network Society in Japan, and was later translated into traditional Chinese. Recently, I wrote a paper about the 30-year history of Japanese Information and Network Society. The last 30 years in Japan. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Called Heisei. Okay, very good. Sorry. This paper has been translated into Chinese and published in this year. So I've been a critic about 10 years. I didn't go on to the graduate school doctor course because I didn't feel the need to belong to a university to do fieldwork research on the internet, social media. And as a researcher in the field, I am still working as a critic while working at a company that provides service for B2B business in Japan. Now, I want to tell you today is a phenomenon called Galapagosization. There are any people you have heard of Galapagosization? No? Okay, yes. I think the majority of the people don't know because this is a business jargon used mainly in the IT industry in Japan. It has a slightly masochistic meaning. Galapagos is, of course, the island where Charlestown was the origin of the species and inspired evolution. Okay, thank you. Sorry. And inspired evolution. This is because of the island far from the continent, its ecosystem of the animals and the plants uniquely was evolved. Galapagosization is a term used to compare the unique evolution of the information technology industry. In particular, until the advent of the iPhone, mobile phone made by Japanese electrical equipment manufacturers were extremely sophisticated. There was a web browser and a subscription service known as full iMode. There was also an app market. In other words, the actual function was comparable to the iPhone. For that reason, there was a majority opinion that in Japan at the time, iPhones could not be sold. But then, we immediately realized that it was wrong. As a result of developing too much independently in Japan, the situation that lost the competitiveness outside of Japan came to be called Galapagosization. Sorry. But today, I do not analyze the structural failure in the Japanese information industry. Rather, I would rather be able to criticize social media from a different angle through the phenomenon of Galapagosization. Galapagos is happening, is different. Galapagos is happening not only in the world of the hardware like mobile phones, but also in the world of social media in Japan. I think that the mainstream social media that is universally used around the world is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. But in Japan, mutations have disappeared, and a large number of users have gained. There is a form and a pluralism of alternative social media. And I hope to get a chance to research the current network societies through its observation. Today, I will introduce two special social media in Japan. The first is Nichan, in Japanese, Nichannel, 2chan. It was established in 1999, a huge group of BBS party board system that could not post comments and anonymously. At the beginning, Nichan was a completely anonymous BBS because they didn't set no IP logs. In Japan, Nichan as an anonymous BBS has had a great influence on both user scale and the net culture. Let's stop for a moment and think about it. There is a mysterious point here. Surely it is an anonymous BBS, so you can feel right at that word without worrying about people's eyes. It may be an attractive service, but there is a big problem. For huge group of BBS, it is important to find information that seems interesting, useful, funny, and so on. Yeah, a search engine should be needed. In the early 1990s, and the app ratio of search engines was still low, but Google changed it dramatically. Google focused on hyperlinks, the worldwide World Wide Web, and improved search accuracy by ranking useful pages based on the link graph structure between the web page and the CMS code blog. For example, movable type became popular because it was easily searched by Google. The blog has permalink and trackback, which is no longer used, and it was a content system that was easy to find by Google. This www and Google and blog is an ecosystem, a so-called information revolution on the age of the Web 2.0. However, in Japan, Nichan became popular before Google and blogs, even though there was no search engine mechanism. Why didn't Nichan have a search function? That was because Nichan at that time had limited service resources. HTTP was very expensive if there was no SSD as it was now. So Nichan is used in Japanese Nichannel and could not post up to 1,000 comments per thread. When it reached 1,000, the thread is stopped and stored in the personal warehouse and cannot be read. In other words, each thread page disappears from the www, so the search engine is meaningless. Nevertheless, Nichan was a place with millions of users. Considering this secret, it can be explained that Nichan was an environment where information selection was easy to occur. Nichan adapted a UI design for the Salesforce system. If there was any post, this was to be displayed on the thread top of the previous category, and words hot threads, where some new communication or information sharing is occurring not displayed at the top. In contrast, the quiet, boring, and thread that people don't give you is disappeared from the category top. In addition, since Nichan was an anonymous BBS, a general culture of copy and paste in Japan, copy and content spread because being anonymous promoted corporate ignorance and copy paste. It is an illustration emoji, like emoji consisting only of characters. Characters. This is so easily to copy and paste as a thread. Post. And joke stories and parodies called template. And English network culture, it is the same as internet meme. As you know, Richard Dawkins assumed meme as a cultural gene. It can be said that the network society has surely increased the speed of propagation of memes. Funny memes was copied and pasted and one after another, spread with minor modifications. Here, as an example of the symbolic meme, I would like to select a very sensitive and political topic in East Asia. Hostile sentiment sometimes burst between neighboring countries, including China and Japan, as a result of the aggression war that Japan caused, of course. It has been like a daily event, especially among netizens who are called the nearby wing. This is one of those things, but in a usual case of being, that is Nippon Oniko, interpret Himono to Oniko means interpret in Chinese, Japanese level, living quick. Ko in Japan, Ko is used for girl's name in Japanese. Okay. This was answerable fight as a cover interrupted in Nichon in 2010. In other words, it was a very joke-like project to attract Chinese internet users who searched to deceive Japan with the power of moe and kawaii characters. This is just a childish prank, and many people may be amazed or uncomfortable, but at least it represented a characteristic of a meme born in space of Nichon. In short, it is a distortion from disgust to moe, from politics to subculture. The high refractive index and competitivity produce cynical laughter and a lot of spontaneous participants. Secondly, I will introduce Japan's largest video sharing service, Nico Doga. The feature of the service is the Nichan. The Nichan is covered and scrolled on the YouTube or York the movie site. The biggest feature of the service established in 2006 is that the comments are scrolled on the video's playback screen, and sometimes the screen is filled with so many comments. This is in Japanese, so many comments. You look or movie content. You don't look movie content. Sorry. This was called barrage and was a large indication that the excitement of the audience was at its peak. Soon after it appeared in Japan, Nico Doga became a video service that was so enthusiastic and popular that it surpassed YouTube. Needless to say, the main purpose of YouTube and other video sharing services is to share and watch video content on the internet. Comments are just byproducts of the impression, etc. However, with Nico Doga, viewing the video content itself is no longer the primary purpose, as it is clearly indicated by the fact that the comments are posted so that the video itself cannot be seen. The purpose of Nico Doga is not video sharing, but experience sharing on the viewer side. In other words, it can also be called a video viewing experience sharing service. I have explained its characteristics with the concept of true synchronization. Users of Nico Doga can get the feeling of watching the movie with other users while watching the comment drawings explain. As in real time, however, users of Nico Doga watch their video at different time and post comment. The site with users who see the video is given the illusion of sharing the same now and here and communication. From an object viewpoint, communication that takes place is asynchronous, but the subjective experience of each user is synchronous. So it should synchronous. Now let's think about Walter Benjamin's famous argument. Benjamin the work without in the age of the mechanical reproduction, that the advent of the mass reproduction technology such as photography and movies will lose aura from the work of art. This is because aura is caused by the condition of uniqueness and one-time experience. In other words, our aura is born by the fact that the object is the only genuine existence in this world, and perceiving and experiencing the object in a one-time place now and here. The advent of the mass multiplication technology takes that one-timeness from people. Then, the appearance of Nico Doga gives a new perspective to Benjamin's argument. This argument. Nico Doga users can get the experience of watching a video in the same time and place, just playing them on demand. Nico Doga should synchronization system replicates the now and here experience of watching. This experience is not in uniqueness, but the true presence. Benjamin's reproduction technology was the reproduction of the object side of the work of art, whereas Nico Doga reproduction is the experience side. Nico Doga system mechanism has stimulated communication between users and has produced a great deal of user-generated content. A famous and typical example is the Hatsune Miku or Vocaloid. She is a virtual singer on the setting. In fact, Vocaloid synthesis with artificially synthesized sounds. In short, she is a vocal electronic musical instrument. However, Hatsune Miku gained great popularity with Nico Doga and expanded the creative network not only to music, but also to dancing, band performance, and cosplay treatment, and finally concert. This is Hatsune Miku's concert. She doesn't actually exist. So this CG, she has been on a transparent screen project. In my opinion, Hatsune Miku is a symbol in the Nichan-like anonymous community, Nico Doga. And she was very convenient in hiding the unique aesthetic of each illustrator. Sorry. After this point, I have introduced 2 other web services in Japan. And so why did such service come in Japan? Is it because of a collectivism that avoids the individualism found in Japanese society? Is it because of the cultural change? Or is it because Japanese society has fallen into a long-term economic stagnation for more than 20 years? Such as hypothesis based on a cultural or economical background is interesting, and if you are interested, please read my book. Later, what I want to think today is the fact that one of these services suddenly moved to another language zone. As for Nichan, it is your 4chan. 4chan was actually an anonymous business established in 2013 based on the social code of the Futaba channel. Futaba channel requires a channel-like image submission BBS, of course anonymous. The cultural bond is similar to Nichan. The same is true for many memes, and so is the anonymous net activism movement. Incel, involuntary celibate, is commonly used in Japan for the meme called himote, There is a network groups similar to the alt-right. It is only person, not whole. Anonymous is cracking various companies and nations with freedom of the network, but these political tactics are not shared with Nichan in Japan. And the Nichan in Japan is more nonsense and non-political. As for Nico Nico Doga, it is the Chinese video service of Bilibili. Bilibili has almost the same interface of Nico Nico. According to Wikipedia, a make funds originally a fund site of Hatmake founded by Akafan Ishifan, a member of Shushin on June 26, 29. Akafan sometimes because inaccessible make funds was created as a stable replacement for Ishifan. On January 21, it was renamed to Bilibili. The nickname of Mikoto Misaka the main character Toaru Kagaku no Rega. There seems to be no doubt that it's a service that was greatly influenced by anime culture and Nico Nico Doga. Why do these Galapagosization service fishes born in Japan and suddenly transferred to another environment? It looks like a plant and shade attached to the airport passenger and shows the simple answer is pure gigs and otaku all over the world. Both Nichan was and Nico Nico Doga and considered network culture for gigs and otaku in Japan. The use of Facebook and Instagram is a group of people who have no desire to exposing their personal lives. Speaking of Japanese, there is tasteless people group called by Riaju. That means real time is fulfilled, the Riaju. Anonymous culture and confronts this reality and avoid it. The network is another paradise that is different from the real world and is a place where that tribes together. That is all for my explanation of explain our Galapagosization. Finally, let's draw out the implication and discussion. It is related to netizen, which is a major theme today. When I was invited to this conference and heard the word netizen after a long time, I remembered John Perry Barrow's Declaration of the Independence of Cyberspace, published in 1995 as a reaction to the Communications Decent Act (CDA) by the U.S. government. The frontier spirit of hackers activists who loves network freedom is often repeated, and I feel it is a typical manifestation of American thinking. The main subject here is an independent individual who pioneered the frontier. The collective individual was citizen, and netizen was thought to be its cyberspace version. For example, in recent years, and like to be forgotten by the EU's GDPR, Gender Data Protection Regulation, has a clear political and economic criticism of platforms. However, netizens on the Galapagos service, Nichan and Nico Doga, I will see today has no political will and sovereignty as citizen. The main role is not an individual, but anonymous means collective movement. I think it is not a solidarity, but a swarm. Like selfish gene, anonymous netizen, and old social media may be just people that carry meaning. As for the Han Sang-kan also said the manifest of this conference, the reality is that netizen actions and perceptions are exploited as a big data resource for the platforms as GAFA. Even it has become popular as a digital marketing tool. A typical example is participation dance posting campaign at TikTok. Meme is an indispensable element for attention economy in digital capitalism. On the other hand, It can be seen as a kind of resistance to the universal and the international standardization of networking and social media. Using Facebook, WhatsApp, like messages, and showing off your life on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok is enough to run down consumers by having popular producer and consumer activities in the current network environment. However, Nichan, Nico Doga, so again, okay, and similar surveys indicate that there is a certain amount of people who are not satisfied with so-called ordinary social media, that is anonymity. Common to those who seek anonymity is know that what we have created as an anonymous community is a shared property and should not be stolen or used for any money. In Japan, such sort called kencho is dislike money making. In Nijan and they have the smell of making money and places for being free voluntarism. In social media, in an educational capital such as like and by an individual without as an individual. However, in the case of the anonymous world, the reputational capital does not belong to the author, even if the expression of content is right. The meme only keeps drifting in the sea of the network. It is a commons shared by anonymous repeater. Therefore, it seems as if there is not a kind of conventional but alternative resistance way that huge platforms like GAFA do not exploit commons. Lastly, one more thing. My future internet as a network ecologist or naturalist is in finding another Galapagosization movement that deviates from mainstream digital capitalism from somewhere in the worldwide network. Will there be an evolutionary path different from this existence is performed after this future? The most post-smartphone era will probably come. I don't know if it is available and smart speakers or XR and virtual reality, VR, AR, augmented reality, or mixed reality devices. Will there be a phenomenon that will shape the current programming industry? I think INS is one of the useful places to exchange information and concepts and connect networks. If you have such knowledge, please let me know. And I hope to continue making a mark of Galapagosization. Thank you for your time and attention so much. 谢谢。
好，谢谢哈马诺桑。这个当然是很有意思的，尤其是我们中国，的年轻一代的网络用户都非常熟悉的。你看到它的这个发源地，它的原来的这个原本，其实呢就让我想到一个事情，就是我们刚才说的这个比较网络文化学，对不对？我们要回到我们这个向老师说的中国现象。就我们刚才想到一个事情，就是它里面提到有一个字，就是匿名性，对。匿名性这个事情呢，在当下其实是一个不只是不允许，而且是不流行的一个现象。因为早期的网络大家不太清楚，早期网络是一律是匿名的，就是我们流行的事情是匿名，不流行用实名。那是一个很长很长的这个网络时代，大家可能都没有经历过。你可能经历过那个尾巴，早期完全匿名，包括我在网上做的所有事情全是匿名的，没有人知道我姓什么叫什么。在当下呢，那个匿名有一个什么现象呢？我讲个比较好玩的，就是大家现在看到这个 Slido 上面这些留言都是匿名的，所以这个内容是什么情况呢？如果不是匿名的话，会有这些内容吗？你觉得，对不对？所以匿名跟不匿名是一个很大的问题，是一个很大的一个怎么说？是一个策略的一个决定。所以在当下这个情况，匿名性 没有办法用，为什么呢？因为这跟政治有关的。你再想想，想多了你就知道我的意思了。第二点更重要的就是这个他讲的整个事情，对他这个当然这个名词用的这个叫什么加拉帕戈群岛现象，对不对？这个很难理解。这个其实我不知道翻译刚才有没有讲清楚，就是说达尔文在这个小岛上看到了很多生物，跟南美或者美洲大陆原来的生物很不一样，它是当地的长时间变种长出来的，对不对？所以就可以说成是一个离岛演化论。那么我们看到他这个讲离岛演化论是讲日本的情况，日本情况我不知道大家是不是真的有全面的理解。离岛演化论在日本是非常非常的普遍的，不只是在网络上的你看到这个什么这个 Nico Doga 这个事情而已。日本的汽车是外国不卖的，日本产的很多汽车外国型号不卖的。日本的手机外国一律不卖，而且甚至不能用，也就是因为不能用，所以不卖。早期的手机不是智能手机，所以这个现象是一个日本特殊的、非常奇特的一个文化现象。好，那我们回到中国现象，对不对？离岛演化论在中国，如果说我们做这个研究的话，你可以写100本博士论文，对不对？整个中国现象，你有想过就是离岛演化论？因为我们都知道非常现实的一个情况，就是中国所有社交媒体网络平台，从百度一直到什么巴拉拉什么，一切全部是抄的，就是它是一个山寨的，整个文化是山寨的。所以我们的这个离岛演化论长出来这些奇形怪状的这些怪兽，其实更怪更多，比日本来说其实更多，对，所以这个是一个很有意思的现象，可以多多研究。比方说什么呢？比方说现在在座有一个腾讯的公司的年轻员工，所以他不知道这个腾讯有一个历史，就我们现在都用的这个这个叫什么 WeChat 就是一个离岛演化论出来的一个怪兽，而且是一个巨大的怪兽摩斯拉，对不对？那原来是哪里来？原来它的原种是什么呢？有没有人知道？张安定，你研究这个啊？没有那么久啊，没那么久。多少年？1010年12年，11年。所以它原来的是它山寨对象是什么？Talkbox 呢是一个香港公司做了一个非常好的一个沟通软件，只能用声音的，不能用任何东西，连你要发个短信都不行的。瞬间，对不对？腾讯推出了一个 WeChat， 微信是一个 Talkbox 的山寨版。1-2年之内 ，Talkbox 发出一个正式的商业声明，在他的网站上，本公司因为某种原因被迫倒闭。因为腾讯在 Talkbox 基础上呢，它加了很多，先是加短信，再加照片，再加什么奇奇怪怪的连接，这些在 Talkbox 上是完全不可以的。它一直是保持它最原始的这个状态，就是发一条短的语音，然后但是它的语音做得非常清楚。早期我们做的非常非常精确的研究对比的，就是在那几年呢，我们同时用这个 Talkbox 跟这个 WeChat， 然后来比它这个声音的音质的这个 quality， 做了很多对比，发现呢 WeChat 完全比不过 Talkbox， 但是腾讯你们也知道，瞬间就不断的在变化，在演化，所以到现在这样的一个，其实它是中国最大的这个摩斯拉。所以呢，很多这些现象呢，其实刚才这位日本学者他的这个模型框架，我觉得对我们很有启发的，你可以看清楚很多现象。好的，那我们现在进入讨论环节。还有一位，对，休息一下，好，我们休息10分钟。